Praise the Lord, my beautiful blessed souls. I'm back with another video. We're in Leviticus chapter 27. This is the last chapter of Leviticus. I am happy because there's some other stuff I want to get into when it comes to this warfare thing, when it comes to demonology, when it comes to tracking it, all these type of things, knowing what God says first about everything and then moving forward. We're still going to get into the demonology part, which is the actual spirits and different things. We're going to get into that. That's more of a deliverance thing. But I wanted us to just be able to look at it and see what that's all about as well. So we're going to start doing that. So it says, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, if anyone makes a special vow to the Lord involving the valuation of persons," meaning value, "then the valuation of a male from 20 years old up to 60 years old shall be 50 shekels of silver, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. If the person is a female, the valuation shall be 30 shekels. If the person is from 5 years old up to 20 years old, the valuation shall be for a male 20 shekels and for a female 10 shekels. If the person is from a month old up to 5 years old, the valuation shall be for a male 5 shekels of silver, and for a female the valuation shall be 3 shekels of silver. And if the person is 60 years old or over, then the valuation for a male shall be 15 shekels, and for a female 10 shekels. And if someone is too poor to pay the valuation, then he shall be made to stand before the priest, and the priest shall value him. The priest shall value him according to what the vower can afford. If the vow is an animal that may be offered as an offering to the Lord, of it that he gives to the Lord is holy, he shall not exchange it or make a substitute for it, good or bad for good. And if he does in fact substitute one animal for another, then both it and the substitute shall be holy. And if it is in any unclean animal that may not be offered as an offering to the Lord, then he shall stand the animal before the priest, and the priest shall value it as either good or bad. As the priest values it, so shall it be. But if he wishes to redeem it, he shall add a fifth to the valuation. When a man dedicates his house as a holy gift to the Lord, the priest shall value it as either good or bad. As the priest value it, so shall it be. And if the donor wishes to redeem his house, he shall add a fifth to the valuation price, and it shall be his. If a man dedicates to the Lord part of the land that is in his possession, then the valuation shall be in proportion to its seed. A homer of barley seed shall be valued at 50 shekels of silver. If he dedicates his field from the year of Jubilee, the valuation shall stand. But if he dedicates his field after the Jubilee, then the priest shall calculate the price according to the years that remain until the year of Jubilee, and deduction shall be made from the valuation. If he who dedicates the field wishes to redeem it, then he shall add a fifth to its valuation price, and it shall remain his. But if he does not wish to redeem the field, or if he has sold the field to another man, it shall not be redeemed anymore. But the field, when it is released in the Jubilee, shall be a holy gift to the Lord. Like a field that has been devoted, the priest shall be in possession of it. If he decides to, if he decides to dedicate to the Lord a field that he has bought, which is not a part of his possession, then the priest shall calculate the amount of the valuation for it up to the year of the Jubilee. And the man shall give the valuation on that day as a holy gift to the Lord. In the year of Jubilee, the field shall return to him from whom it was bought, to whom the land belongs as a possession. Every valuation shall be according to the shekel of the sanctuary. 20 gerahs shall make a shekel. But a firstborn of animals, which is a firstborn, belongs to the Lord. No man may dedicate, whether ox, sheep, it is the Lord's. And if it is an unclean animal, then he shall buy it back at the valuation, and add a fifth to it. Or if it is not redeemed, it shall be sold at the valuation. But no devoted thing that a man devotes to the Lord, of anything that he has, whether man or beast, or his inherited field shall be sold or redeemed. Every devoted thing is most holy to the Lord. No one devoted who is to be devoted for destruction for mankind shall be ransomed. He shall surely be put to death. Every tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or the fruit of the tree, is of the Lord's. It is holy to the Lord. If a man wishes to redeem some of his tithe, he shall add a fifth to it, and every tithe of herds and flocks, every tenth animal of all that pass under the herdsman's staff shall be holy to the Lord. One shall not differentiate between good or bad, neither shall he make a substitute for it. If he does substitute for it, then both it and the substitute shall be holy. It shall not be redeemed. These are the commandments that the Lord commanded Moses for the people of Israel on Mount Sinai. We're going to get into some commentary, and then we're going to go into some other things because, it's just a lot we got to discuss here. Now, this is talking about, of course, this is about vows, and this is about giving, because we're going to get into it. The last verse of the foregoing chapter seem to close up the statute book, yet this chapter is added as an appendix, having given laws concerning institutional services. Here he directs concerning vows and voluntary services, the freewill offerings of their mouth. Perhaps some devout, serious people among them might be so affected with what Moses had delivered to them in the foregoing chapter as in a pang of zeal to consecrate themselves or their children or estates to him. This because honestly meant God would accept, but because men are apt to repent of such vows, he leaves room for redemption of what had been so consecrated at a certain rate. Here is 1, the law concerning what was sanctified to God, person, verse 2 through 8, cattle, clean or unclean. 9, verse 9 through 13, houses and lands, verse 15 through 25, with an exception of firstlings, verse 26 and 27, concerning what was devoted, verse 28, 29, concerning tithes. So when we look at this, because I don't want to get this is part of the law concerning singular vows, extraordinary ones, which though God did not explicitly insist on it, yet if they were consistent with conformable to the general precepts, he would be well pleased with. Note, we should not only ask what must we do, but what we may do for the glory and honor of God. As the liberal devices liberal things, Isaiah 32 and 8, so the pious devices pious things, and the enlarged heart will willingly do something extraordinary in service of so good a master as God is. When we receive or expect some singular mercy, it is good to honor God with some singular vow. So in these cases, these people were vowing things. Remember I told you vows can work, 2 ways, for you or against you. This is altars, covenants, contracts, which are vows. So if you enter into it and you keep it, it can be beneficial to you or it could be helpful to you. But if you renege on it, it can have its, this is why he was talking about these things in here. If they vowed to, like Samuel was vowed to the Lord, they gave that, his mother gave him to the Lord as a holy, consecration. So the service was him to be raised there. And that was a vow she gave, and she kept it by allowing, and Samuel was always, anointed. He was a child of God set aside. So when you look at these things, it could be a person, it could be anything, something of value to the person, whether it's their house, whether it's, a person, whether it's an animal sacrifice, whatever it may be. This is like an offering. So you would have your regular, I would guess, tithes, and then you have offerings, and this would be like a special gift if that's what they wanted to do, and it could be in the form of a vow. So this is what this is talking about. And he's just basically going down and explaining about how to redeem it if they want to get it back, or if they give it for such a time or whatever, and what can be redeemed, what cannot, and how much, so at what rates. So this is what this is talking about. It kind of got me to thinking about some things, and I was digging and deeping and looking at some things. This piece of paper again that I meant to. Okay. Now I did was supposed to look up threshing vintage vows, geras, Yule, Ostaras, Semhe. I'm going to get into it. Now, I started out, so give me 1 second. I'm looking up. I gotta go back a ways because I start getting real nosy at times about things, and I just start looking up things because I want to know. Hold on, let me go back. How much further back do I have to go? This is a lot. Okay, I guess I didn't do it. Okay, so this is Leviticus 27. I thought I did it, but I didn't. Okay, so this is Leviticus chapter 27. This is the final chapter of Leviticus. It deals with vows and dedications to the Lord. Here's a summary of its main points. Vows and valuations. People could dedicate themselves, family members, animals, houses, or land to God. The priest would assign a monetary value based on age, gender, and type of offering. Redeeming what was dedicated. If someone wanted to redeem it, meaning buy it back what they had vowed, then they had to pay the valuation plus an additional 20%. So this is what this was about. Animals, clean and unclean. Animals dedicated to God could not be exchanged or substituted. Unclean animals could be redeemed for a set price. Property and land. Land dedicated to God was value based on its productivity until the year of Jubilee. If not redeemed, it became permanently holy to the Lord. Firstborn and tithes. Firstborn animals already belonged to God and could not be vowed. Tithes is a tenth of produce or livestock were holy to the Lord. Redeeming them required an extra payment. Purpose of this chapter, it emphasizes holiness and integrity in making vows. It shows that dedication to God was serious and involved a real cause. It closes Leviticus by stressing that everything belongs to God, which we already know. But also it lets us know that he takes the vow seriously. So if we are going to make a vow, we would want to keep it. If not, as we see, he will make arrangements for us in these situations, certain ones to redeem it back. But usually that's really not something you want to be doing. A vow is a vow, and this is how this works. Now, threshing was one thing I was supposed to look up. Vintage vows, Kara's, Yule, Ostera, and Sim. I was supposed to look these up before, so I ended up looking them up because I forgot in the last video, and I sometimes do that once I get going, and I tend to forget. But yes, I looked it up, and I'm gonna go to it. Yeah, okay. It was threshing. It was vintage, threshing, and wait a minute. Oh, crap. I be having to go back. I probably need to just do it again. Okay, so now I gotta do it again because I went back. Okay, so we're gonna do threshing. What was it? Threshing. Vintage. This was from the last one. Geras. And vows. And then I'll do the Yule. Okay, I think I already did those. Okay, so threshing, vintage, geras, and vows come from biblical and ancient Hebrew context. Here's what they mean. Definition: threshing. Definition: the process of separating grain from the husk or chaff after harvest. God talks about separating the wheat from the tares, the chaff. He talks about these type of things. The grain separates the goats from the sheep. So I guess this is a process they use during harvesting. Biblical use often symbolic of judgment or purification. Matthew 3:12. Practical: done on threshing floor using tools or animals. So this is how this is done. Vintage refers to the grape harvest and wine production season. Biblical usage is associated with abundance and blessing, but also judgment. Isaiah 63:2-3 speaks of God's treading the winepress as a metaphor for judgment. Geras, definition: a small unit of weight or currency in ancient Israel. value. 1 gerah is 1/20th of a shekel. It was in Exodus 30:13. Use mentioned in Leviticus 27 when assigning valuations for vows. So this also has something to do with that. So it's a unit of measure of weight or currency. This is how they did this back in their times. They had shekels, gerahs, whatever, and there were different ones for different things. And the unit measures were different for different things. Vows were definition of a solemn promise or dedication to God. Biblical context in Leviticus 27, people could vow persons, animals, property to the Lord, often requiring redemption payments, meaning if they wanted to get it back. I'm gonna do yes, and then I'll go on into Yule. Okay. Threshing is joy and abundance, but also divine judgment. It's like a wine press imagery. God is separating the righteous from the wicked. That's threshing. Gerah is precision in offerings. God values integrity, so that's the scale, weighing, measurements. Vows, commitment, and holiness and worship. Okay, so now we're gonna go to Yule, Astera, and Semi. Now these things are really talking about some other stuff. Hold on, give me 1 second. Alright, I'm gonna put a Yule. Good morning. Oh no, baby. I don't keep no chain. You too. Oh yeah, excuse me for that. Okay, so we're talking about Yule, Astera, and Samhain are 3 major festivals from pagan and Wiccan traditions, part of the wheel of the year. Here's a quick summary. Yule is a date around December 21st, winter solstice. This is, I guess, the Christmas things, one of the things. Meaning celebrates the rebirth of the sun and return of longer days. Tradition, evergreen trees, candles, feasting, many customs influenced like modern Christmas, right? Which we know it is not Christ's birthday, so this is pagan. Astera, date around March 21st, spring equinox, meaning honors fertility, renewal, and balance as day and night are equal. Symbols, eggs and rabbits. They are linked to modern Eastern imagery. This is where these gods are coming from. These are these pagan holidays. Samhain, date October 31st, November 1st, meaning marks the end of the harvest and beginning of winter, believed to be when the veil between the world is thin. Traditions, ancestor honoring, bonfires, costumes, roots of modern Halloween. So when they talk about these things, talk about the Night of the Dead, all these type of things, this is what they're talking about. So now we were talking about the times of the year, the rhythm of the Lord. As we know, this is Thanksgiving. This is one of those festivals. This is one of those pagan holidays. We're talking about the rhythm of God, getting on his calendar, not being on the calendar of Lucifer, Satan, the devil, and the kingdoms and systems of the world. Why? Because as we know, they're opposite of what God wants for us. And this is where we're off at with everything in our lives. So we need to be in alignment with God himself and what he has for us so that we can be in line with God when he's moving. And I was talking about this before in one of the other videos, but this is not something that is done by accident. These things are done to keep us blinded, to keep us away from knowing any certain things, to keep us from being blessed, to keep us from having our lives based around spirituality, which is God, which is what we're supposed to be doing. And this is how, we got here when it comes to everything that goes on in this world. So when we think about these things, it's just a lot to think about, especially this time of year. We notice a lot goes on. Some is good and some is bad. This time of the year, people get very depressed, stressed about buying things, having money, being around each other, having to do all of these things, which in all actuality are not even things. These are not none of the feasts or festivals that God wants us to honor. The ones that we're supposed to be honoring, we're not, and we don't even have the real dates and times of when we're supposed to do them. So this is a great problem. As we can see, everything about this world in itself is just a lie when it comes to us, and everything is just a lie. Everything's backwards. It's all for money. When I look up the calendar, I'm going to get into this Gregorian calendar along with the lunar, because it's the Gregorian calendar, but then there's the original Hebrew calendar. But all of these things are based around fiscal years. They are based around money. This is what it's about. It's about the fiscal year. It's about making money, making slaves of us. Hold on. Okay, so now we're going to get into it, because this is going to take us into, okay, so we're going to look at the Gregorian calendar versus the original Hebrew calendar. And the reason, okay, the Gregorian calendar, introduced by Pope Gregory VI in 1582 to correct inaccuracies in the Julian calendar. Reason for change: the Julian calendar miscalculated the solar year by amount of 11 minutes, causing drift in the date of Easter. So now you see what that was about. Easter. Easter is a pagan holiday. The Gregorian reform adjusts leap years and realign the calendar with the solar year. This is what they do. Structure. Solar years based on 365 days, with leap years used internationally for civil purposes today. Why? Because it's all about fiscal year. It's all about money, monetarism, making money, and it's about keeping us off the alignment of God, because they know the real times when God is moving and we don't. Hebrew calendar origin: ancient Jewish calendar based on biblical and rabbinic tradition and structure. Lunar solar months. This is what this is about. Months follow the moon, years adjusted to the sun. 12 months, sometimes 13 in leap years. Purpose determines Jewish holidays, Sabbath, and religious observances. Starts from what is considered the year of creation. Currently, year we're in is 5,786, compared to being in 2025. We are not in 2025. Key features: months like Nisan, Tishri, Kislev. Leap years add an extra month, Adar 2, to keep festivals in their proper seasons. So we're going to look more into that. Hold on, let me write that down, because I keep looking and digging, because I want to know. Why? Because I don't want to be stupid. I don't want to be not knowing. We talked about Nisan, Tishri, Kislev. Okay. So when we're looking at these things, leap years added on Adar. I'm going to do Adar 2. Okay. Two different systems, right? Gregorian is designed for civil and Christian liturgical use based on solar year. No, it's not. It's Satan's system. That's where they get all this other stuff from. That's where they get that, what is it? The signs, the horoscopes, all of that type of stuff. That's where they get that from. Hebrew designed for religious observance, aligning lunar months with agriculture and festival cycles. This is what we're supposed to be on. Why? Because there's seed time, harvest, and rest. Why? These are the normal, natural patterns. Remember, I told you about thoughts, habits, because thoughts become habits, right? Habits become patterns. Patterns become what? Cycles. So this is, they have us in these thoughts, habits, patterns, and cycles of what? Satan, Lucifer, the devil, his kingdoms, his systems, instead of on what? The ones of God. We're not on the habits, the thoughts, the patterns. It's the cycles of the godly cycle. This is what this, so either we're producing blessings and curses amongst ourselves when you think about these things. So, hold on, because they want us to compare. I'm going to let them do that, but then I'm going to look into Adar, Nisan, which we did, Tishri, and Kislev, to understand. Okay, solar based on the sun. This is the Gregorian. Lunar is based on the Hebrew calendar. Is moon months adjusted to the sun. Length 365 days, add 1 day. 354 days. Leap year adds 1 month. See? Leap year rule, every 4 years except century not divisible by 400. 7 leap years, every 19 years, add 8 or 2. We're going to look into that. Starting point, based on birth of Christ. Anno Domini, based on creation. Current year is 5,786. So, that was the start point. Purpose, civil and Christian liturgy, use Jewish religious observances and festivals. This is what they do. So we have Passover and Nisan, which is the 15th. April starts evening. Yes, April 12th. Shivat, 6 Sivan. June 1st starts evening. Rosh Hashanah Tishri. September 23rd starts evening. Yom Kippur, 10 Tishri. October 2nd starts evening. Sukkot, Tishrei 15, October 7th starts evening. This is what this is about. Passover is Pesach, commemorates Israel's deliverance from Egypt in the Exodus. These are things God told us to celebrate. Remember? To observe them. Why? To practice them. Why? This is what he wanted. These are one of the governance and laws he gave us. Exactly. Being what? Disobedient. Disobedience leads to what? It leads to what? Sin. Sin leads to what? And rebellion. It leads to what? Wages of sin is what? Death and curses. So this is why this is important. Rosh Hashanah, Jewish year, linked to creation. Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, Leviticus 16, right? Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles, Leviticus 23. These are the things we should be observing, but we are not. And then the calendar's thrown off. So it's like, also. So being that we got to the Nishan, okay, those are the months. Yeah. Nisan is April. Sivan is June. Tishri is September. Tishri. Okay, it's from September to October. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's how that goes. And Sivan is June. So this is how this goes. So now, like I was saying, now, when we think about what's going on right now, everyone's getting ready for Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of these things. But these are based, the Gregorian calendar, hold on, I'm going to show you. They're based on fiscal years. This is to make money. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Why? We're in the fourth quarter. This is why Trump had to turn around and give the folks the food stamps. So everybody running around here talking about they want BET awards and all of this. The man just almost cut off half the people's food supply, and it was nothing. And they're all they're thinking about, and this is what kills me with people. Not kill me. I gotta watch my words. Take that back. This is what behooves me. People are so worried about all these other things like Christmas, like what was it? They're talking about BET awards and all these other things. This man almost shut folks' food down. So y'all more worried about that. And this is what I'm saying. Folks' mind is so caught up in this stuff. Okay? So they thought process towards it. It's like they can't be without this culture and these traditions and this is what is not good because they're so embedded in them till it's like it's their whole life force. You're making idols of these things. You cannot do this. This is such a problem. Remember, this is divination. This is making idols. You see what we talked about. The Gregorian calendar itself is not based on fiscal year. It's a solar calendar designed to track Earth's orbit around the sun, which is a lie. The Earth is flat. 365 days with leap years. There's no NASA. NASA is full of it because the Earth is flat. God says it in His Word. It is the footstool. So how can it be round? It is flat. According to accounting periods, that they need to say that because they want to go to so-called, they call it aliens. There's no aliens. Those are demons. They want to aggravate the firmament, which is actually the Holy Spirit holding everything together to allow them demons to come in and create war and havoc. That's what that's about. These robots, AI, is all about demons having bodies because they don't have any. It's about them playing God. It's about them destroying the human race. This is what all of this is about. People need to wake up and pay attention. This is all a spiritual situation. All of these things that they are doing is spiritual. It is not a natural, but it takes place in the natural. Remember, anything that's going on is in the spiritual first, and then it shows up in the natural. So, budget reporting often aligned with order different from report. Okay, key differences runs January 1st to December 31st, used globally for civil purposes. can start and end in different dates depending on the country organization. Used as federal fiscal years October 1st to September 30th. Many companies April 1st to March 31st or July 1st to June 30th. This is what they do to match business cycles, tax seasons, government budgeting needs. Agricultural seasonal industries often choose fiscal years that align with harvest or production cycles. This is what this is about, creating what? Slaves. Manual people is no longer slavery, has not been, and this is what God delivered us from. When he took us out of bondage from Egypt, delivered us from their ways of life and their systems. But as we can see, our minds are still caught up there. Why? This is where we are. We can look at it from even another angle. I'm going to go to the makings of a slave, which is the Willie Lynch letter. And when we look at this, it's a speech that was delivered by Willie Lynch on the bank of the James River in the colony of Virginia in 1712. Lynch was a British slave owner in the West Indies. He was invited to the colony of Virginia in 1712 to teach his methods to slave owners there. Their term lynching is derived from his last name, Willie Lynch, the lynching. Lynch mobs. Greetings, gentlemen. I greet you here on the bank of the James River in the year of our Lord 1712. Now, we already know there's issues with that as well. We're going to get into it. First, I shall thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. They have exploited this. I had to look this up too, the King James Version. All of this is we're going to discuss it. I'm here to help you solve some of your problems with slaves. Your invitation. Reach me on my modest plantation in the West Indies, where I have experimented with some of the newest and still oldest methods for the control of slaves. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented as West Indies, where I have experimented with some of the newest and still the oldest methods for control of slaves. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. Rome, remember, ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. As our boat sails south of the James River, named for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish. That I had a problem with, and I had to look it up because there's a lot with this King James version of the Bible. I hate to dismantle people, but we're going to get down to business. We got to be serious. I saw enough to know that your problem is not unique. While Rome used cords of wood as crosses, right, Christ, for standing human bodies along its highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and the rope on occasion. I caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree. You see this a couple miles back. You are not only losing valuable livestock by hangings, but you are having uprisings. Slaves are running away, and your crops are sometimes left in the fields too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires. Your animals are killed. So this is what he's talking about. Now, this is sad because he's speaking of these people as if they're not even human beings. He's looking at them as their livestock and cattle. I keep telling people all the time, the Constitution, all of this stuff is sorcery, witchcraft. Look into it. They all were part of Masons. They all signed these things. And we, especially blacks in America, are not considered to be human beings. Where this is why the laws that they have are not in place for us. But it also has a lot of spiritual ramifications. Why? Because they were built on the backs of what? Slavery. Why? We can look at it as black people were sold like a stock exchange as money to grow wealth. They also was hanged, sacrificed, whatever you want to call it. Why? And the more they did that, the more empowerment they got, the more money, the more wealth. When you look at it from a biblical standpoint, you see a lot of this stuff. Like I said before in one of my videos, I talked about how, your DNA and all of these things they have. And they get these things from us just in hospitals, blood samples. Only if you want to do witchcraft, you want to keep someone down, you want to keep them under a spell, keep their minds locked, whatever you want to do. Witchcraft and sorcery is a great way to do it. And there's different ways to do it, through religion, through all of these different things. And he's going to break these things down as to how this goes. Gentlemen, you know what your problem are. I don't need to elaborate. I'm not here to enumerate your problem. I'm here to introduce you to a foolproof method of solving them. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slave for at least 300 years. Remember that. My method is simple. Any member in your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences. Remember, among the slaves, and I take the differences and make them bigger. So he magnifies smaller things. This is what we're going to talk about. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. So when you think about people who are in power, when you think about people, even our own people, who go against us for what? Fame, power, for all of these things. Think about it. Talk about boule, we talk about all these different things. These methods have worked. They take any differences, we're going to look at the differences, and they use it. And they use fear and distrust and envy for control purposes, right? These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On top of my list is age. Age, we have issues with age. People who are old and young do not agree. We're not on the same page. This is something that they maximize and use against us. I have said this over and over again before. Discriminations, age, sex, male, female, against each other, put them against age, young and old, right? Skin color, all of these differences. We're going to get into it. But it's there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade, right? There's intelligence, size, sex, sizes of plantation, status on plantations, attitude of owners. This is where they put us against each other, even with color, light skin blacks, dark skin blacks, this type of thing, house nigga, field nigga. We talked about these things so many times before. Who is jealous of whom? Who has more rights? Who has more, we saw it in the Django with Samuel Jackson. They put it out there for us to see how these people react when they are black. Remember, Africa was a part of us. We were a part of our own enslavement. Why? Africans helped sell us into slavery. Our own people for what? Money, power, greed. They wanted to, when it came to their own wars over there that they were having, they wanted to have, the guns or the come up. This is what this is about. And so when we look at these things and we don't mind coming against each other for money, power, fame, for a little few extra dollars, for a little more, clout or whatever it is, praise, worship, this is what this is about. And this is why, especially as black people, when we're looking at everything we see here from baddies and all these things, this is why we can't get anywhere. Looks out. Everything that is not important is so important, and the things that are important are not important. This is where we are, and it's so sad. Okay. Added to the owner, whether the slave is live in the valley or on the hill, each differences I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. Remember, these is the way we don't trust each other. We don't. Why? Because we have backstabbed each other too much. The black slaves, after receiving this doctrine, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-degenerating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Look at what is going on. Everything he is talking about in here has been used, and it is working. It has been working. How do we put a stop to it? We need to wake up, people. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slave versus the light-skinned slaves. You must use light-skinned slave versus dark-skinned slave. You must use female against male, male against female. You must also, you have white servants over seers and distrust of all blacks, but unnecessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust us. Don't you see this? Do you not see this? Gentlemen, these kids are your keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them, and never miss an opportunity if used intensely for a year. Your slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Thank you, gentlemen. Meaning their minds will be still enslaved, thinking that they are free just like we are here now, and we are not. Please pay attention. This is what waking up is all. Let's make a slave. It was an interest and business of the slaveholders to study human nature, and the slave nature in particular with the view to practical results, and many of them attained astonishing proficiency in this direction. They had to deal not with earth, wood, and stone, but with men and women. Every regard that they had for their own safety, prosperity, they needed to know the material on which they were to work. Conscious of the injustice of the wrong they were every hour perpetuating, and knowing what they themselves would do, meaning monitoring. Were they the victims of such wrongs? They were constantly looking for this first signs to dreaded retribution. They watched, therefore, with skill and practiced eyes. and learned to read with great accuracy the state of my heart of the slave through his sable face, usually sobriety, apparent abstraction, soulness, and indifference. Indeed, any mood out of the common was afforded ground for suspicions and inquiry. Frederick Douglass' Let's Make a Slave is a study of the scientific process of a man breaking a slave making. It describes the rationale and results of the Anglo-Saxons' ideas and methods of ensuring the master-slave relationship. Let's make a slave. The original development of social being called the Negro. Let us make a slave. What do we need? First of all, we need a black inward man, a pregnant inward woman, and her baby inward boy. Second, we will use the same basic principle that we use in breaking a horse combined with some more sustaining factors. What do we do with horses is that we break them from the form of life, one form to another. That is, we reduce them from their natural state in nature, whereas nature provides them with the natural capacity to take care of their offspring. We break that natural string and cycle of independence from them and thereby create a dependency status. Why? So that we may be able to get from them useful production for our business and pleasure. Do we not see this? Housewives, baddies, any and all TV and programming, rap music, hip hop, the culture they give, you don't see it nowhere else. Where do you see it? Only in our communities. Everything, race, religion, creed, shade, color, they use it all to discriminate against us. Check the box. Are you white? Are you black? Are you educated? Are you... All of these things, I've been saying it for so long. They use it against us. The more degrees you have, you're better. The more money you have, you're better. Division, minute things, make them bigger. Maximize on them. Why? To make us hate each other. This is what is going on. It has been going on. He said 300 plus years. It's been more than 300 years. And although we are so-called free, we are not. Please pay attention. This is the way of manipulation. This is the way of slavery. Not only is it that way, it is also, including religion, it is a way of what? Sorcery. Don't for one moment. Manipulation is what? Sorcery, right? Look at what's going on here. Cardinal principles for making a Negro. For fear that our future generations may not understand the principles of breaking both of the beasts together, beast, the inward, and the horse, we understand that short-range planning economics result in periodic economic chaos. So that to avoid turmoil in the economy, it requires us to have breadth and depth in long-ranging comprehensive planning. Articulating both skill and sharp perception, we lay down the following principles for long-range comprehensive economic planning, both horse and inwards. Is no good for the economy in the wild or natural state. What? Both must be broken and tied together for orderly production. For orderly future, special particular attention must be paid to the female and the youngest offspring. Both must be crossbred. What? To produce a variety and division of labor. Both must be taught to respond to a particular new language. Psychological and physical instruction containment must be created for both. We hold the sixth cardinal principle as truth to be evident based upon the following discourse concerning the economic breaking. To try the horse with the inward together, all inclusive of six principles laid down. Note, neither principle alone will suffice for good economics. All principle must be employed for orderly good of the nation. According to both, a wild horse and a wild nature inward is dangerous even if captured, for they will have the tendency to seek their customary freedom, and in doing so might kill you in your sleep. You cannot rest. They sleep while you are awake, and you are awake while you are asleep. They are dangerous near the family house, and it requires too much labor to watch them away from the house. Above all, you cannot get them to work in its natural state. Hence, both the horse and the inward must be broken. That is, breaking them from one form of mental life to another. Keep the body, take the mind. In other words, break the will to resist. Bug breaking, beating, trauma. Devil uses all these tactics. You see the industry. Sex trafficking, sacrificing, you see the buck breaking, the having sex with each other, the anal, the shame, the depravity of all of these evil, wicked things? Do we not see? Do we not? Are we going to continue to be blind to these situations? Are we going to continue to act like they do not exist? Please, for the life, please. I need for you all to go and pull this document up, and I need for you to read it for yourselves. Why? Because me telling you has no effect. They use religion too, and we're going to look at the King James Version, because at best, yes, there is some stuff in the King James Version that is not put in, that was added on and taken out. We know this. And the codexes is the original versions, and there are another version that are the original versions, and the original versions are in the Vatican, and they are holding them because they do not want us to see the original versions of the Bible. So this would explains a lot of this too. Now, am I going to say everything in there is wrong? No. But am I going to say we got to question it as well, because it is something that they use against us, and it's not something. Do we know that some of it? Yes, because some of us have our own experiences with Jesus, with God. We have our own experiences, so we know that all of it is not. But it is a tool that will be used against us, and we have to be mindful and pay attention to it, because what better way for Lucifer to get to us than through religion? It is not off the table. It is something that needs to be discussed, and some people know more than what we know because they are involved with these things. And unless they come out and speak and tell the truth, which a lot of them know, these are the oaths that they take with these secret societies of things that they do know and do not wish to disclose to everybody else, because they are gatekeepers and it is their benefactor. They are reaping benefits of us going through what we're going through. Some will reap benefits and others will not. Now, when it comes to witchcraft and sorcery, one of the main things is you will sow like an elephant, but you will reap like an ant. And when you look at black people, that's what we've been doing. We've been doing that. And for all the other nations and all the other people, pay attention, because it's not just going to be for us. These people are reptilians. These are evil, wicked Satanisms. They are down with Satan, loose for the devil, his systems and kingdoms. They are not down with you, and they are not going to save you. And if you're not one of them and a part of their bloodline, they will annihilate you. They care nothing about you. Please do not think you have allegiances to these people in any type of way. These people have no allegiance to you. Half of them are not even real people. These are reptilians. What was it? He said, you are of your devil, of your father Satan, loose for the devil. I was talking about the Star of David. When you look at that star, it is not no Star of David, nor has there ever been a Star of David. Where did they get that from? I told you to look into sorcery, because they have those circles and those triangles. Pay attention to those. Look on your flags all over the world and in your states. Look up the symbolisms. All of this stuff is rooted in sorcery, not just overseas. All of these countries, and guess what? They are all together. We see them in the World Forum. We see them uniting the religions. We know the beast system is coming. We know they are going to change. No money's going to be here. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. We need to be following the Lord right now, seeking him more than anything, because we see what is coming. And we have no time. We must sound the alarm, the trumpet, and prepare the people. Why? Because he is coming back, and it's not going to be cute. He's not coming back as, the little lamb. He's coming back as the lion. When Christ come back and deal with all of this stuff, it is not going to be pretty. And before he comes, it's not going to be pretty. These are going to be the time of trial and tribulation. We are right here at the brink of it. Please pay attention. All these other things, the vanity, the money, the car, you cannot take it with you. Your soul is worth way more. This is what this is all about. This is a battle for the souls. Please understand this. Holidays, all of that included. Listen, I understand everybody want to live and have a life. Don't get me wrong. But what I do understand is, more than anything, we cannot sit here and just let our souls for eternity be tormented. Take what I'm saying into heed and into consideration. Look up things for yourself. Do not believe everything these pastors and people tell you, because I'm telling you, they're keeping a lot. They know more than what we think they do, and they're keeping, and they're not giving it up. It benefits them. It benefits them not to. So, we are bruised and not broken. I hated to end this off this way. We're going to get into more of the other stuff but this is just something that I wanted to put out there. You're bruised and not broken. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel to allow it to get out there. But I love you guys, and I hope this is a blessing to someone. We need to wake up. The rap culture, the hip-hop culture, drugs, all of these things that they purposely did to us as human beings. And it's not just going to be about black people, I'm telling you. It's not. Because all these other races seem to think they are safe, including other white people. Because understand, whether you're white or not, if you're not a part of the bloodline, whenever they're doing these things, it affects us all. Only one's not affected is them. They talk about snatching the kids. They talk about all of this sexual sacrifice and ritualism. They talk about all the $1 trillion, them having underground tunnels, underground homes, $1 billion dollars. I believe it. I believe that they have the tunnels. They're under there. I believe that's where they're going to go hide. I believe they built it. They took the money of the people to build it with. I believe it. Why? Because it's too much pointing to that direction. I remember in New York, there was a synagogue in here about a year or so ago where there was up under it, the Jewish temple. Yeah, there was a whole nother place up under there. They talked about having these tunnels all throughout the world, people being snatched and missing and nobody knowing anything. People, Epstein, Diddy, all of this, pay attention. It's more and more of this stuff is coming out to the light. It is not a game. It is not a joke. We cannot sit back and continue to say, oh, that's not real. Oh, that does not exist. Oh, they're just conspiracy theorists. Please stop doing that. Please, the writing, the caution, the warning signs are so red. They are so in your face. They are so there. Please start paying attention. Love you guys. I'm going to let this video go. I love you guys. Pay attention. Time to seek things up above. It's time to seek God. Because all of these things come from what? Sin, rebellion, disobedience, worshiping all these other gods, doing all this other stuff. This is where you will bring what? Blessings or curses upon yourself, your bloodline up to the 34th generation. Please, people, it is time that we stop participating in all this foolishness. Love you guys. Bruised, not broken. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you.